Welcome to tonight's reading. Tonight's reading is going to be what is the tea? So there are three groups for you to choose from. We have group 1 with the Mugwort and White Sage incense. We have group 2 with the White Sage and Palo Santo incense. And we have group 3 with the Sweetgrass incense. So you can take a moment to choose which pile you feel the most drawn to and use the timestamps in the description box to jump ahead to the group that you've selected. Okay, welcome group 1. If you chose the Mugwort and White Sage, then this is your reading on what's the tea. So there may be some sort of social situation that you have going on at the moment, and feels like there could be like a myriad of people that are involved here. We're just starting off with quarter case, sexual infection, sexual disease, rash, etc. Running, ain't shit, dodging bullets, blocking negativity, escaping crazy people, protected by haters, love on the brain, dreaming, fantasizing, daydreaming, nostalgic, dirt digging, looking for dirt on you, or vice versa. And the very first card that we've pulled is actually like the Knight of Wands, which kind of like would perfectly tie in with the same energy. So let's see what we have here. Hoping everyone's doing well tonight. I'm just going to take a moment to close my eyes and see if I can connect with the energy before I go pulling any more cards, and just see if we get any extra little bits and pieces before we do. I just heard like everything's going on, like shit has hit the fan. So I just like maybe at every angle things could possibly be going wrong. They really are, and for some reason I just feel the need to go through like this deck here and just check. I want all the cards upright, and this is normally something that I like go through every now and then and just make sure that they are, but to be fair, like the way that I use them, it's very rare that they actually sort of like come out in reversal, and even if they do, I'm not always actually guided to take them in reversal anyway. So I feel like if I go through and sort this pile out and then we happen to have something coming out in reversal, it might be a case that it's actually meant to be that we take it. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about with the incense that's burning is that like it is clearing, but it's kind of like grounding and fortifying, and I don't know how to explain it other than that's just what it feels like to me. For some of you, you may have had like some sort of happy ending or family situation end, like come to an ending, maybe like separation, just like people going different ways. There's like a parting of some like whoever is involved in this. I feel like there was like, you know, that potential of like long-term happiness, like true happiness. So yeah, people were definitely not working together. I think that's everything that we need. Yeah, all right, that's what we wanted. Okay, so now we've got that sorted out. We're just going to start shuffling again. Some people may be like running from the reality of the situation while at the same time trying to, excuse me, act like it isn't affecting them. For others of you, you've actually dodged bullets massively, like whatever the situation was. It never could have had any good come from it anyway, okay? You did well to leave when you did. Maybe you're still thinking about what you've left behind or what it could have been. Being really nostalgic is the energy that I'm getting. And look, we did have the moon actually pop out before in a noticeable way. And I didn't take it, and now it's come out again. And like the moon can be like, I don't know, it can be unconscious patterns, behaviors, beliefs and whatnot, but it can actually also be like that emotional undercurrent and sometimes being consumed by emotions as well. So we'll see what else we get. There's definitely at least two people here that are trying to have a say, and I actually wonder if that's the two people that have separated or something like that. If I wonder if for some of you it was like a third party situation. Look, I've got to apologize straight off the bat with this reading because I feel like there is multiple people involved in it. It's going to be hard to tell who's who and what's what, and to try to separate out the different situations that are playing out here, just because there is so many people in like these groups, sometimes like different types of situations, that it's going to be hard to keep it streamlined. So I'm going to do the best that I can to, like, sometimes what happens is that as we're going through, we're like, you know, going card by card, reading through the situation, and then like, you know, we'll go back through and a different situation will present. So like maybe a different group within the group, if that makes sense. So hopefully we still get some sort of helpful information, or just some sort of like insight or clarity or something like that on the situation, just because it just feels like a lot's happening. Anyway, so the first thing that I get is that this Knight of Wands is watching somebody else, like trying to, I feel like, you know, normally when I talk about I don't know, it's like a feminine and masculine energy, right? You don't have to be, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a male and a female, right? I feel like this Knight of Wands character could be either. But I feel like, actually, do you know what? We're not even going to do that. We're just going to refer to the cards as they are, and we'll work out the rest later. First things first, I feel like there's a lot of things happening. There's like a lot of information coming in, and there's a lot of different people around us, and I feel like people are saying different things. There are things that have happened that are really obvious in the open for everyone to see, that everyone knows about, and there are things that have not happened out in the open, and there are people trying to lie about things. Okay, so the way that I understand it is that there's this Knight of Wands character and there's a person running. The person running is actually like running in a health and fitness way. They're trying to take care of themselves. They're trying to clear their mind. They're trying to connect their mind and their body and get in sync with themselves. They're trying to work out how they feel about everything. I feel like they actually could even be enjoying themselves and just moving on with life and doing what they can to better themselves or improve their situation. And this Knight of Wands person is kind of acting like they're like having fun and that they're like being independent and you know, off chasing better things anyway, but the reality is that they're still looking. I get the energy, like what I'm seeing in my mind is the two cards side by side like this, where he's like watching her, looking after herself and moving on, and he's sort of like trying to act like that on the outside, but in reality, he's still watching her. And I feel like he's a little bit bitter about the situation, a little bit sad. It's not even any of those things. He just still cares what she's doing, okay? So that's the first thing. I feel like he definitely tries to act like the whole situation doesn't really mean too much to him, like he's trying to play it cool. In reality, I feel like he's seeing her run away, not run away, but like there's that as well, right? Like her moving on. But he's seeing her take care of herself and moving on with life, and not being bothered by it, like really not taking it like too seriously, not trying to hold on to things. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And I don't think that this person even knows how they really feel about the situation, this Knight of Wands character. I feel like this is probably part of the issue, is that they don't actually understand their own feelings. They have trouble identifying their own feelings, and therefore in turn makes it really hard for them to like know what they actually want and communicate in a clear way. So that's not helping the situation at all. Now, the next thing that we've got, yeah, I definitely feel like they get lost in their emotions for sure, or get like lost in the details of the situation. Like they're too caught up on like who did what to who, and like trying to pull out the rap sheet and be like, look, what she did was bad. But really it's like no one was really trying to do anything bad to anyone. It was really just how things played out, and when people get defensive or scared about the potential outcome for different things, then you know that sort of throws everyone into a bit of a flurry. Anyway, yeah, I do feel like there was a couple here trying to work together, and there was like another person trying to intercept in some way, and I don't feel like they were directly trying to intercept. Like I don't actually feel like this is necessarily an affair type energy, but it was like they just wanted to disrupt it, and I don't know how to explain it or why. I feel like because this person doesn't see, it's like this person sees other people that they deem as like some sort of like lower quality to them, like, and this person has like a superiority complex to them or something. So I just want to give a little bit of context to this before we move forward. So it says if this person that's running, let's pretend it's like a feminine energy for the minute, it is interchangeable, okay? So just like flip it for this particular, for the energies to suit the situation, but the rest of it shouldn't be unless we like sort of concrete it later on. So like the Knight of Wands and the person running were together at some stage. They were a couple, or they were involved in somehow, like some way, or they were interested in each other, or spending time together, or in each other's lives for a period of time. So they were like together in some way. There was, I feel like they were pretty close or pretty stable, or they sort of looked after each other, or they were just around each other for long enough for people to like kind of know them together. Anyway, and then this other person, it's like they're busy doing their thing. They come across this like, you know, couple of people that they sometimes see. I don't even feel like they've seen each other all the time in day to day. It was just like every now and then they would like sort of see them, and they knew who they were, and they would talk, and they never really gave it. I don't feel like this person was ever really that interested in it. They felt like they had better things to do. Anyway, this other person that comes into contact with, we're going to refer to it as a couple, even though it might not necessarily have been a romantic couple. For a lot of people, it will be. Anyway, so this other person has like a bit of a superiority complex, and they are just kind of like minding their own business, and they sort of, there's like a sense of almost judging people through a level of like inexperience or something like that. So kind of the same way as we could be like overly confident when we haven't experienced a situation ourselves. So a really easy example of that might be like, well, those people that I didn't think were, you know, well to do for, or like I don't know how to explain it, just like they would pick apart something, whether it's like a level of intelligence, or they would pick apart a person's ability to provide, or to, you know, that it's like different things. Like maybe they see a person and they think they're really awkward, they would have trouble navigating like through social lens and things like that. It doesn't matter what it is. This person looked, and they found something, and they thought, this person struggles with this, that means they sort of like come up a little bit short. I think that I'm not really content with what I'm doing. Something is missing in life. They actually seem really content with what they're doing in life, but I think that they've got it wrong. It's like an underestimation here. It's like they're looking at the people and saying, like kind of making like a snap judgment, like because they live like this means that they are coming up short in this way, when it's really not the case. And I don't know if I'm doing a good job at explaining this. It's like they're making a judgment from the way that like their lives were, you know, they chose to live their lives. And there's like, I actually don't think there's anything wrong with the way that these people chose to live their lives. That's fine. It's totally up to them. They were happy with it. They were comfortable with it. Nothing was wrong with it. But this other person, like, just sees flaws in every direction. It's weird because I feel like it's sort of changing as I talk about it. So like maybe initially it actually was only like one thing that they sort of had like some judgment in the back of their mind that they like were sort of born out of inexperience, and then as they like got to know them better, or the more time that they spent around them or something, or they got to know about the situation, it was like they just like seen flaw after flaw after flaw in this situation. And I feel like this person just sort of like has this weird ego. I don't know what it is. It's like a mix between like a superiority complex and then having like a lot of ego and trying to prove things to yourself, like an insecurity thing, something like that, where they're like, well, these people have it, is it the real deal? Basically, I'm going to try to mess with it to see if it is, because if it is the real deal, then it must show something, like shine a light on something that I do that's wrong, where I'm not quite like a full person or something like that, where I'm not able, I don't have that ability to like attract a good partner or keep one or something like that. So instead of actually like, you know, having a look at myself and going out and doing the work and doing the hard work of like navigating the world and using discernment and finding a person that suits you and that matches and stuff, I'm going to in turn like just like what's the word, they're going to tweak things about the situation. They're going to like say something very small that's not necessarily true, but it's kind of like a half truth or an implied statement, just to project an idea into a person's mind, or like to, I don't know what I'm trying to explain, but I feel for some of you, if you have like a clear quartz or like a Lemurian seed quartz, or like a, what is it, like, you know, sometimes you can get like pinky orangey quartz, and it's because they've got like that hematite flush through them or something, like a tangerine quartz, or it doesn't matter what sort of quartz it is, as long as it's like predominantly like a clear one. I think you can get like phantom quartz. There's all sorts of different ones. I'm seeing one of them right now, working with some sort of clear quartz piece. Like maybe I'm going to get one and show you guys, because I feel like it needs to be like a specific shape, and from memory I think it's a generator, but I actually don't know what it's called. If I find out what it is, I'll link it in the description box for this group. I'm gonna go dig in the bowl of crystals and see if I can find it, so hopefully it doesn't take long to find it. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. That's not it. Here we go. Okay. So just like that shape. So it doesn't have to be, it's basically, the way I understand it is like terminated at one end, if that makes sense, or just like the natural form point at one end, and then the other end's like where it finishes or has maybe been broken away or something like that. Okay, so if you can hold it in both hands and meditate with a piece like that, might be able to give you clarity. And that's not necessarily for everyone. It may not actually work for everyone, but for those that regularly work with crystals or meditate or something like that, you might be able to bring in some sort of your own intuitive side or clarity into the situation to help you shine light on that in a way that I can't for you during this reading. So hopefully we haven't gotten too far off track and we can keep on going with where we're up to, because I feel like we're really on a roll here. So this person seen flaws, and I think there was like that judgment of like these people, like basically that whole ego insecurity thing. So it's like they think they're superior, but they don't have this thing that these other people have that you apparently in their mind they think that you should have in society. And I guess they are not content with life. They feel like something's missing. They're not particularly happy. I don't feel like they're particularly sad either. They're just like not particularly happy. And so they decide that I'm going to test this to see if it's real. Because if it's real, like, because this person has a lack of understanding around love and couples and relationships and the way that it would work, or even if it's just like true bonded friendships and things like that. And they think, I'm going to test this because if it's the real deal, it shouldn't break no matter what I do, because both people are on the same team. And the thing is that I feel like both people were on the same team until one person, I don't know, one person was sort of like taking what this other person was saying a bit too seriously. It's like they didn't give enough credit to the person that they knew the longest. But I do feel like the stuff that this third party here was saying was like incredibly divisive and intelligent in the way that they place things to where it actually seems like really innocent and like general observations. Yeah, I think they really fooled your person. I think they were really smart in the way that they went about things. And yeah, I don't think, it's just weird because I don't feel like it's a lack of intelligence. I just think that your person just has like a naturally distrusting nature. And it's kind of like, instead of talking to you about it, they just assume the worst, or let their paranoia or their own insecurities get eaten up by this other person. And this other person sort of thrived on that, and it eventually brought about the ending of whatever that relationship or situation was. So there's a few different things that were going on here. I feel like the moon's particularly important. So I don't know if that means, I feel like there's some sort of Cancer type energy here. So maybe one of the people that was involved was the Cancer. Maybe it was like using Cancer type energy. I don't know how to explain it, because there's even like the I think that's the Datura. It might not be. But it's making me think of the Datura, whether it is one or not. That's definitely not the Datura. But it's making me think of, it's not even like an intuitive thing. It's like a clouded sense of like a disillusionment. Yeah, that's like an illusion, a disillusionment, something like that. I'm not sure. Okay, is there any, we've got, I feel like after this situation ended, this third party person had their position propped up. Yeah. So they had something to gain from it. I just don't know what it is or was. Whether it's literally, it could genuinely just be their own ego boost in some way. It kind of gives me the vibes of some weird, icky power trip. As to why or how this person thought they needed to involve themselves here. And I don't know if they necessarily even like wanted to be in on this like relationship or anything, or if it's a case of they literally just wanted to like flex. It's actually really gross energy. I'm trying not to judge it, because we're all human and we all do different things born out of different reasons, right? But like, the reason why I say what I said is because of like the intent behind it, if that makes sense. Okay, so yeah. Now, for people that are watching this, keep in mind you could be in like any one of the three positions, because now that we're working with it, even it does feel like there's an extended layer of people here that are like maybe onlookers or friends, or people in like a group or a circle or something like that, or like extended family or something that have like sort of witnessed different like snippets of the situation here and there. I actually feel like there's three main people that this has all gone down with. So yeah. Okay, so that's everything that I have for those cards. So we're going to take another one. So I want to take a card for the third party. Okay, so we've got two come out. So we have bully and lover. Yeah. A person that is using bullying tactics and what's the thing? They're like actually coming off as though they are the lover, but they're really like bullying someone in an artful way, to where it's like coming off through like a lens of morality and integrity, but they're just like I'm seeing like the trickster card. They're really just pretending that they like have this really high moral ground or moral standing. They're actually a bully, and they're really manipulative in how they bully people to make sure that they still have like a higher standing or something like that. And they're actually really trying to sell themselves as this like concerned, genuine lover, and I just really care for you, because that didn't seem right, but really they'll like almost force this like Fourth Reich like moral integrity compass, integral compass, like down another person's throat to. But the thing is with that energy is you can literally shape it in any direction you want, as long as that's what you deem your morals are. And so it just becomes like a very slippery slope of changing goalposts to suit you. So not you particularly necessarily the audience right now. You could be any one of these three people, but I feel for most of you, you're probably the person that was unaware of like this third party encounter experience going on. And so yeah, I think this other person posed as a lover, but they were really just a bully. And if it wasn't so that they could like bully this other person into like doing what they wanted or achieving whatever outcome they wanted, they were like doing what they did in turn to kind of bully you. They wanted to show you who was the boss. They wanted to show you who this makes me think of like that beating the chest, like I'm the alpha. No, I'm the alpha. Anyway, so I don't know, that's probably could be funny for some people, could not be for others, but we have the Emperor. This person is like very much in control, and they have really good foresight or foresight into situations. And I feel like they are like good at chess, like they know all the right moves to make. I think that they're quite smart in which they go about things. They're probably quite like a smooth operator, and they probably don't make any mistakes in anything that they do, and they would quite happily let you think that they do, just to sort of come across like, you know, seemingly unwitting or something like that. Yeah. All right, so for anybody, I feel like if there's anybody here that is thoroughly confused by this situation, I would say that this group is actually not for you, because I feel like you would already know this. I feel like this, like what they were saying earlier, like shit has already hit the fan. You'd already be well aware of this, so I'll save you any more time in going forward with it. But I do feel like ultimately it's like a transformation in teaching you the way that different people can show up in the world, and to see the truth and see situations for what they are, and to use really good discernment and be able to stand up for yourself and like lay down the law and like just cut people out of your life. Like, oh, you want to like lie to me? Go on. You want to like be like really manipulative or mess with my relationships? Go on. It's like a quite cutthroat energy born out of experience. Yeah. But there's like a lot of clarity here, and I want you to know that there's like a transformative level of, do you know what it is? It's like when we're like younger and we can be like naive, and then we like live through experience and we wisen up. Sometimes I do get the swords as like people that have gotten wise through experience or out of necessity, right? Okay. So group one, that's actually everything that I have for you on what's the tea in your situation. So I'm not really sure. I think like there is insights here. I'm not really sure how helpful it is for you to like, whether you care about some of the other people. Like I feel like you obviously would care, but I'm not sure how helpful it is for you to know like maybe it is really helpful for you to know that that's why that, you know, people were interjecting themselves in the way that they were, because it was born out of insecurity, and that it's not a reflection of you as a person, it's a reflection of them and their, you know, their own insecurities, and that they obviously don't feel very good or confident in themselves or comfortable in the world in the way that you do, and so they feel like they have to tear down someone else or try to take it from them. And I don't feel like this situation will ever happen again, because you can see what you couldn't before, and you'll act in a way that makes sure that this never enters your life again. Okay, is that everything? The only other things that I have missed so far that I didn't point out before is that, like, with any death cycle or ending of any situation, there's always like that rebirth or that new cycle that comes through, like a new chapter. And I also am seeing in the Queen of Swords here like some butterfly symbology, and it's just kind of that like process of transformation, and that they want you to know that there is actually beauty in the journey and the transformation and who you like come out as on the other side. You might see yourself as like hardened, or I'm not sure if you do or not, but you're not. Like, there's like a real beauty to you, and I think it's kind of that thing of like the rose with the thorns, where it's like, even, you know, like making sure that the beautiful things are protected, and in a way this was how spirit got you some thorns, if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so group 1, that's actually everything that I have for you. That's a wrap on tonight's reading on What's the Tea. So hopefully that was helpful in some way, and I'll see you all in another reading. Okay, welcome group 2 to tonight's reading on What's the Tea. If you chose the white sage and Palo Santo incense, then this is your group for, or your reading for tonight. The first card that we have is the Happiness Hater. Oh, they said that's too many cards. Good. We'll see. They'll come out again if they're meant to come out. It's just Spirit's telling me it was like too many cards, so I feel like I was just a bit too clumsy for that. Okay. The Hangman. So I feel like someone around you is not happy about you gaining some sort of like perspective or illumination, to where you're beginning to actually like free yourself and get a bit more, I don't know what it is, it's like empowering. It's like you're starting to empower yourself, and this person doesn't like seeing you grow some happiness. And it's like, this should be a time where it is actually like, you know, something to be well and truly like happy about, because like that level of growth takes courage, is what they wanted me to say. You know, and it can take a toll. So to come out of something like that, it's kind of like, they're saying like brave, but they're also like sort of showing me someone coming out of the dark or coming out of a cave or something like that. And then it of course ends with the Tower moment here, but I feel like this Tower moment is actually like that evolution of like, you realize like the light turns on and you're like, oh my god, whatever this is, like I can't do this anymore, I can't be like this, or I can't accept this, or whatever. It's like some shift in perspective. It's just like you just realize something totally like polarizing to the situation at hand, to what you thought previously. And you make a decision. I feel like before you even make a decision, it's like the way that you've seen the world before and the way that you see the world now affects how you see yourself within it as well. And it actually sets you up to be in a position where beforehand you were feeling quite trapped and weighed down by it, or burdened, or totally stuck. Like maybe you just felt frozen. Maybe you felt like there literally was no way out. And now the way that you've engaged in the process and the healing work that you've done, you know, the choosing to show up for it and getting through it, you're beginning to free yourself, and through empowering yourself, through like embracing the process. And that's all you can do. It's like, you've done well, so kudos to you. And I think that when you do become empowered, you actually decide to like take action and change something about your situation. And that may be intimidating to people around you that are on rocky ground, or maybe have been trying to, I don't know, what's the word, like impact your happiness. Or it sort of gives me the vibe of people stopping you from knowing what you're missing out on to keep you stuck, so you stay with them, because they don't think that they could ever give you like whatever happiness like you need, so that you would stay with them of your own accord. So they need to make you feel like you could never achieve it on your own, so they like try to break you down, or like keep you feeling like unempowered. And by doing that, then maybe they hope that you'll stay around longer. So they just slowly break you down over time until you realize, because you're not silly. Like, you know, we all have like rhymes and reasons. I don't know what they're trying to say. It's like rhymes and reasons, times and seasons. Basically, we all start out at different places in life, and there are a lot of things that happen to us to get us to where we go. And it's not always of our own choice, and you don't need to worry about the past, or there's no judgment on how you got to where you did, or how you stayed there, or anything like that. All you can do now is make that decision to move on, to do what you can with what you have now, okay? That's it. So I think they just want you to have a little bit of compassion for yourself, but understand the strengths that you have, that you embody, and understand the strengths that this mindset, or whatever this realization is, that it gives you. For some of you, it's actually in your intuition. For most of you, though, I feel like it's like an epiphany or a self-realization or something like that. Maybe born out of like presence or realization. And this 10 of Cups is actually sitting on the bottom of the deck. So I actually feel like once you decide to leave whatever this like old shitty situation was behind, or like, you know, pull apart the old foundations and start anew, it actually leaves all the room in the world to have these wonderful new things come in. And it's like, just, I don't know what 10 of Cups means for other people, but for me, it's like all the things. It's everything you could want. This is how you have a good, fulfilling life. This is like happiness in a jar, is what they're saying. Okay, so all the things, and that's kind of like the underlying energy here. So it's kind of like you've found a way to like really free yourself somehow here, in a way that I don't think you realized you could before. And I'm actually, the next card on the bottom of the deck is like the Death and Rebirth card. So it's literally like when the Tower has fallen is when that rebirth comes in. So it's actually perfect. And then it's like the journey is over, and it allows your mind like a whole heap of like free space just to allow new things to come in, new possibilities. And there's like an evolution of being more in touch with yourself and more balanced in an integrated way. Yeah. Okay. No. All right. Do we want any more cards? I do want to take an archetype card just for this happiness hater, just in case, because some of us, it might be really like obvious who they are. Like maybe it's an ex-partner or a current partner that you've like known for a while, that you basically want to leave, and you're just like at a stage where you're making that decision now. For some of you, like, it doesn't have to be a partner, right? It doesn't have to be romantic. This could have been like a friendship, a relationship with a family member, anything. But I guess to try to help if you're actually unsure, because you might not have come to this realization yet, we'll try to take a card that might help point us in the direction or give confirmation on any particular, like, you know, feelings or suspicions that we already had. So this is for group 2. There we go. The Martyr. Okay, so this person, look, it's like there is an addiction to self-pity. And then the learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself for a cause. Look, normally I would look at this card and I would think it's like that misplacing the energy. Like from the outside looking in, it would maybe look like you're a person who like comes from a place of like, I don't know, I don't think it's right. I think it's wrong. Sorry guys, I'm getting a little bit muddled in the way that this is coming through and I'm trying to explain it, like get the words out. But basically, I think that this happiness hater person, they either are so full of like self-pity that there is no room for happiness, or they are kind of manipulative in the way that they sort of act like the martyr, like using those acts of service and that sort of like self-indemning behavior where it's like, but I'm so self-sacrificing for you to try to make you feel guilty or something like that. I feel like normally I don't think the martyr is like a manipulative position, but I feel like this person, if they're not full of self-pity, they're using it as like a manipulative front, is like, I'm the martyr. Anyway, yeah. It could be both. It could be that like manipulation is born out of the self-pity, or they go hand in hand, or it could just be one or the other. It's hard to say for these situations when there's like multiple scenarios that like come through with the different people in the group showing up being a general reading. A private reading is more specific to your own situation. So yeah. Okay, the other thing that I want to say, seeing how this incense is actually white sage and Palo Santo, I feel like this group could do with like a good energy clearing or smudging or something like that, just to help clear up any residual stuff that may be hanging on energetically. Really, Palo Santo can be really good for clearing out other people's energy out of our field as well. So if you could only choose one, or there was one that I was going to say you have to do that or something, I would choose the Palo Santo, but really if you can do both would be great. So yeah. All right, well, group 2, that's everything that I have for you on what's the tea for your situation. I hope that, you know, with everything that came from this here, I hope that it was helpful in some way and gave you some level of like insight or clarity into it to help you navigate it. So something like that. Anyway, thanks guys, I'll catch you in another reading. Okay, welcome group 3 to tonight's reading. If you chose the Sweetgrass incense for your what's the tea, I was going to say episode. I wonder, you know, how often things like this come up for you then. So we have travel and bad reputation. So I feel like this person probably does frequently travel or is like getting out of town when it suits them, when things heat up and they need to cool down. Their reputation probably precedes them, but they're really good at covering it up. So you'd really only have to be able to navigate talking to the right people. But I do feel like they are so good at maneuvering in the world in the way that they do that it would actually be hard to connect the dots here because of how they work and cover things up. And I just didn't even realize I said connect the dots, and she's actually wearing a jumpsuit that has like, or play suit or whatever you call it, that has heaps of dots on it. So confirmation number 1. The next thing is that I feel like whatever this situation is, it actually is going to uncover the truth here. It's literally going to be like Pandora's box opening up, and it'll be like a can of worms just spilling out everywhere. And the truth that's being uncovered is like a bunch of lies and deceit and strategy. Yeah. So now that we've got that out of the way, we'll move on to the next card. I do want to say Sweetgrass is actually meant to be something that brings in like good energy. So that might be something that you have to do in this situation, is if you can't get rid of something, bring in really good energy that like almost changes the vibration or flushes it out in some way. I'm not really sure what else you can do, but we'll see what else we get here. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Okay. So we have the King of Swords, the Four of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so this feels like 2 different people if we split it. Okay, so I feel like this person that has the bad reputation, that's been like being a bit deceitful here in some way, actually acts really like cutthroat and like they have good discernment, and I think that they do, but I think they act like they're providing the truth and clarity, and it's really just like a manipulative tool to them to like hold that stance and be the person that says this is the truth and that's not the truth, because then it gives them control in the narrative, if that makes sense. And the reality is that I feel like they spend quite a lot of time pondering like, you know, the situations at hand so that they can navigate them to their best ability in a way that suits them. Now, the other person here is Eight of Pentacles. So they're a person hard at work, and then we've got Queen of Pentacles as well. So I do feel like they are in a receptive energy, and I feel like they've already done their work and they're probably really good at something that they do, and that they're quite comfortable. And even if they haven't done their work, they're just in a position of power in a way that this King of Swords here actually is envious of or jealous of, and that's what it is that they're after. It's not necessarily like the money itself or the work itself or whatever. There's not necessarily like a material payoff here. It's the position of power that the King of Swords wants from this Queen of Pentacles, because the Queen of Pentacles can do a lot more than this King of Swords can. And the thing is that she doesn't have to try. She doesn't even have to lie or be controlling or manipulative to people. People will just do it because they like her, let alone the fact that she looks after them as well, okay? So that's the 2 sides that we've got here. And I feel like this Queen of Pentacles is actually a person that's going to be the person uncovering the truth or unboxing the truth and just letting it all out for everyone to see. All the, like, airing the dirty laundry, if that makes sense. Yeah. Now, I feel like there's something else that I'm missing. No, I think we should be fine. I think we should get through it. I think that this King of Swords is actually also like envious or jealous of the way that like you dress, you look, like your external appearance, appearance, how people like like you, they want to help you, they stay by your side, and they think that it takes no effort for you. Maybe it is because it's effortless. Maybe you don't actually have to try. Maybe you're just a good person. It's hard to say. It looks like you're just a good person. There's literally like angels on her shoulder, on both of her shoulders. There's no like angel one side, devil on the other. They're just angels. Yeah. And I think people just like are naturally, like, I feel like you're a strong person as well. And that's the thing that gets them. They're like a strong person, but they kind of have to cut people down to maintain their strengths. Whereas you're a strong person, but you're actually really kind, and people don't take advantage of you, and they continue to stay around and treat you well. I think that's what it is. If some of you have been wondering what's the reason behind a certain dynamic here, that's what it is. We're just going to try to take one more card. Okay, so this person would rather see you out in the cold, not doing well, or your health affected. And that they're actually showing up as a really ungrateful, I don't know, like this card doesn't look ungrateful to me, but like normally Four of Cups can be ungrateful, or I don't know. So apathy, contemplation, feeling disconnected, melancholy, boredom, indifference, and discontent. Yeah, it's like a sense of apathy and being disconnected. So I think that's how this person actually feels, or they want to see you feel like that. They want to see some sort of reflection in the outer world to their inner world, but projected onto you. Yeah, okay. Now that we've got that, we want to take an archetype card, because if you actually don't know who this person is, but you've got a suspicion and you want like a confirmation or a bit of extra insight into them, if you do have a good idea of who they are, hopefully this card will help us like narrow down on who they are, or like what maybe like a functioning mechanism behind the situation, something like that. Just check this for group 3. Who is the person that is jealous or envious of their control and other people liking them? Let's see if we can get something to come out. I feel like this person tries really hard to stay like in the shadows or unseen or out of they really cover their tracks well. I think they're really good at it. I feel like most people would look at them and go, oh, they're not capable of that, but they really are. It's like they give me, oh, there we go, like wolf in sheep's clothing vibes, like, bully. This is the second time that this card has actually come out, so I think this just come out in group 2. So if any of you felt drawn to group 2, you might want to go back and check that out. But I do feel like these are separate topics, so if you are actually drawn to both of them and they both resonate for you, it could be 2 separate situations going on, unless there's some sort of mixing of the 2 that I don't have that insight into. But yeah, this is what it is. This person's, they feel inadequate, and they feel like the only way they are going to get whatever they need is to bully people. So it either highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you, or conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. The thing is that I feel like they try to project out onto the world of like living in this like light attribute, but the reality of the situation is they're coming at you from the shadow attribute. And that's it's kind of like when the true colors show, when the mask slips off. Yeah. Okay, so group 3, that's actually everything that I have for you for this reading. Remember to try to bring some good energy in where you can. It may help with your vibration, or it may help you just fill the space with the good things to help you through this period or something like that. I'm not quite sure. And if it's not about like bringing in good things, it might be something to do with Sweetgrass that I'm unaware of. So that might be something worthwhile looking into if you're interested in it. But either way, thank you for joining me here for tonight's What's the Tea reading. I hope it was helpful to you in some way, and I'll see you all in another one.